Man, man, I don't know, man. There's been a lot of fucking crying today. Jesus. We go through this every goddamn time with the fucking review shit. Every time. Seriously though, I think I can get more information out of a fucking shitty score like this. Actually, let me go to Metacritic. Oh god, Death Stranding, Jesus. Let me see what their shit is looking like. Starfield, aka Stirfry, also on PC. See, like these rando, I mean, obviously you're gonna get these console war people giving it 100 just to do the score, and you're gonna get the reverse. You're gonna get ponies in there doing that same shit. But these random outlets like the Washington Post or some Midwest newspaper or anything that doesn't really have anything to do with games, those are the ones you got to take those with a grain of salt too. And to call them more dishonest than a fucking IGN giving it a 7 is ridiculous. Because I mean, we know fucking at least they played their goddamn games, even if it's only for 5 minutes. See, I mean, look, people hyper focus on these scores like that 7, you know, but at least it has some context to it rather than a fucking rando. Like just saying, oh, well, IGN in Japan gave it a 10 out of 10. Did you read the fucking review? It's like, maybe the guy, this is his first fucking video. I mean, we don't even know. We don't really know much about this guy either, but I mean, shit. I could just read this right now and probably find something helpful to be a fucking consumer. And let's see, good. Starfield has a lot of forces working against it, but eventually the allure of its expansive role-playing quests and respectable combat makes its gravitational pull difficult to resist. That sounds like a good fucking review. And they're actually saying 7, which means good. Then they go to over here, the good. Intriguing side quests that lead you down some wild paths, solid gunplay, fun arsenal weapons, thrilling firefights, impressive breadth of content and interconnected gameplay systems, which is cool because it's gonna eventually be expanded, you know. Trekking the galaxy and discovering planets is novel. You know, I mean, everybody likes that whole... I mean, I think the space game has kind of made a comeback in recent years in a lot of ways. The bad, uninspired main story with weak writing. See, like right there, people are going to get triggered by that. But like, for me personally, that's why you got to read these things. That's not going to be a bad for me. Uninspired main story with weak writing. That's shit I skip anyway. I'm not really into the story for the most part in games. You know, I'm like fucking always going through as long as I know the basics of what's going on. Underwhelming vision of space exploration. Underwhelming. And humanity's spacefaring future. So they don't like the sci-fi in it, which I can see that I can tell that I'm already not going to really, because I know that the future isn't going to be. This is as if we started going to space starting at the 60s or something. We're using like fucking NASA. This is like a Fantastic Four comic or something, you know. It's all based on rocket technology and shit, which is cool, and that's the aesthetic they wanted to go for. So I can see why that would be underwhelming, especially if you don't have lots of extraterrestrials, which, you know, it's pretty obvious. There's a lot of fucking life out there. Just if you know basic physics and fucking chemistry, it's impossible. There's not tons and tons of fucking life forms out there. Plus the visitations, and that's a whole different story. And of course, people triggered by the whole landing on a fucking, you know, like all that shit, because we're not warping time space. So, you know, this is based on landing and fucking, you know, watching these rovers by fucking JPL and shit, basically, but in the future. You know, it's like an alternate timeline or something. Shallow RPG mechanics with regard to dialogue. That doesn't mean much to me, because as far as the dialogue, because I'm fucking usually skipping past it anyway. Shallow RPG mechanics. I don't really know what that means. Shallow, I guess. meaning it's not a true RPG, maybe, or it hasn't been updated from the old Bethesda kind of mechanics. Maybe that's what they mean. It's shallow now. It wouldn't have been shallow fucking 10 years ago. And influencing outcomes. Yeah, there's, you know, I mean, that's I guess that's up to the player, you know. Like, this is all opinion. That's what that's what I don't get about people. Like, I heard fucking what's his name in the space screaming about all this shit, and media bias, and the fucking still going on about fucking King Thrash, as if these people knew what the fuck a gas giant was 5 days ago. They fucking didn't, you know. Just something to run with because they're fucking, you know, triggered because he's a troll, you know. Terrible map system makes key locations tough to navigate. Terrible maps, that could go either way. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Key locations tough to navigate, but I mean, see, like all this shit. This was kind of help. This is way more helpful to me in making an informed decision about playing the game than you know, whatever. 10 out of 10 game of the year. Oh wow, that's really helpful. Outside of being like this shit. Xbox Addict. That's probably not a good example because that's obviously a fanboy. Let's see what his review says. Maybe he did write some things that make it a 10 out of 10. Bethesda Game Studios has a pedigree of creating fantastical. Bethesda games are generally vast, open. You can basically do what you want. Set in love. Oh my god, he's really into it. Compelling narrative. So he likes the narrative. Your true self. You're given a tablet and asks blah blah blah. Bounty hunter, chef, cyber runner. Man, he's just telling you all about it. So maybe it is a good review. I mean, it just seems like he's giving away the whole game. Fuck, that's a lot of explanation. Holy shit, he's been working on this. Pew pew pew. Looks and sounds great. 100%. God damn, all 10s? I mean, come on. You know, he's obviously just a fan. I mean, they have been kind of dry on their big games, and this is a big game for him, so, you know, they're going to give it a 10 because they, you know, the bar is kind of low. But, you know, shit if you enjoy it. But still, you got to take that shit with a grain of salt. I don't know why people are so fucking pissed off about this shit. That's crazy. Now here are some of the ones that I guess are getting people mad. GameSpot. I don't know what guy did GameSpot or gal did this, but Stirfry has its moments for sure. It's satisfying gunplay, makes combat exciting, especially when it's integrated into set pieces. Within its better, more captivating quest lines, and although limited in its conception of space exploration, there's a novelty in poking around the galaxy. So it's basically just set dressing to set up, you know, first person set pieces, which I'm fine with. That's why I never really cared for that hyping up of, oh, you're gonna do all that. It's just like, come on, you know. Poking around the galaxy to see star systems up close and personal, and occasionally finding side content worth chasing. Okay. However, it struggles to deliver a cohesive and memorable RPG. See, somebody else was saying that RPG elements are kind of crappy, but I think, I mean, I don't know. They're gonna constantly fucking add shit to this game. Seemingly boundless sea of stars, for its reverence for scientific philosophy, its stories and characters paint a rather tame and sterile version of what our spacefaring future could look like. Yeah, I already know I'm not gonna really care for the sci-fi in it. It's kind of a cheesy, like, military industrial complex version of, or not even that. It's like, it's all NASA shit, you know. It's like, what if we started spacefaring with the crappiest technology everywhere, and we're probably going to die of radiation regardless. So that's why that shit about people and the, you know, landing on a fucking giant, a gas giant and shit is kind of, the whole thing is just kind of ridiculous, because like this technology, we'd be fucked. We'd be so fucked. Really trying to, like, really you're gonna go in that fucking thing, and then what? I guess you go through a There must be like hyperspace gates or something, wormhole gates or something. I mean, if you're not in a bubble, that's shit. How are you protected from that? But I'm curious to see how they do that part of it. You know, going to other star systems and shit. I mean, it's got to be bad on your body. See, that's why we would send avatars. We would have little gray alien guys do the work for us, and we just, you know, avatar into them. They're basically made for space flight and radiation and fucking. They could go to the fucking gas giant. They'd be fine. But then again, they'd be using Alcubierre warp drives and shit. Fucking warp drives. Yeah. He's about to talk to Worf. Tuvok! So I guess J-Dub's been playing this game for a little while. A little bit. He hasn't really said anything. That's crazy. He hasn't like mentioned any how he's been enjoying the game so far. So this will be the first time watching it. But actually, why does that say Starfield or Starfied? Why does it say Starfied? That's weird.
Hey everybody,
I gotta hear this.
Dub, and I'm back at it.
I can't hear.
Again. Y'all know what time it is.
What time is it?
What day it is. Y'all know how important 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Roughly in a few minutes, the review embargo for Starfield is going to be lifted.
Okay.
And you're going to see a bunch of memes, a bunch of GIFs. You're going to see a bunch of screaming and yelling and fighting back and forth.
Oh, man. Yeah, that shit already started.
Fanboys and on a review.
All right.
And I've basically been playing the game for the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Here is some of the gameplay that I captured from it.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm going to give you a little bit more my in-depth of what I think about the game. Did I enjoy it?
That's a cool suit.
I think it was good, bad, things that they could improve, or if this game is GOTY caliber.
Hopefully.
Got the game booted up, got into the game. I'll be honest, I'm going to start with the negatives, and then I'm going to finish this review off with the positives. I think that's the best way for me to do it. So
that's fair.
The negatives. Let's get this out the way.
Don't be negative.
I think the biggest negatives for me are the load screens.
Oh, Cydonia. We get to go to Cydonia? Do they got the face on Mars? Richard Hoagland. Shout out to Richard Hoagland, even though he's full of shit. Oops. What did I do?
Get this out the way. I think the biggest negatives for me are the load screens.
What the fuck?
This game.
What, did they change that?
Game doesn't seem to be taking advantage of the SSD at all. From the dashboard, and
they changed it on YouTube.
The button on Starfield. Going to the
they added this where you can hold down on the left click mouse. But they. Oh, there it is. What the fuck?
This game doesn't seem to be taking advantage of the SSD.
You go into a meat locker
at all. From the dashboard. And the time that I clicked the button on Starfield to go into the game, it took me roughly 1 minute and 30 seconds. I repeat, 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I know that because I timed it. I recorded a video.
I fucked it up. I haven't been showing the fucking screen. My bad. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah, man. I fucked up. I fucked up bad. There it is. Hold on, let me go back. I'm sitting here riffing on the footage.
I recorded a video that was showing the loading from the main screen to your character, and you can move around. And
Keanu.
This day and age, guys, with next generation, because of these SSDs, that just took me aback. With all of these consoles able to do constant loading,
I'm hungry.
Quick resume and velocity engine stuff and SSD, all that stuff, it kind of made me. It just reminded me that this game perhaps was made for the previous generation.
Oh, probably was.
I mean, this game.
Here's what it is. they're cheap. And they've made so much fucking money and had so much success off of starting with, you know, Skyrim and shit. It's like, you know, why not fucking still use this shit? It's like, it's working, you know? It's like, fuck it, you know?
It's a big game. And so I don't know.
No,
I'm looking forward to Digital Foundry to come out and say, are they using the SSD? Because if they are, I mean, are the assets that big where it just takes that long to load into a game? And another thing,
that sucks.
While we're talking about,
yeah, I'm fucking so sick of loading screens. In this day and age, we have so many choices of games, and we're kind of spoiled now. And we got SSDs. It's like it's like almost no excuse anymore, you know, but we're almost there. We'll get there.
SSD and loading. There's a ton of loading screens.
That sucks.
A ton of everything you do, there's a loading screen.
Because I have like ADD and fucking OCD and, you know, CBD, THC, but fucking every time a loading screen comes, I'm just like, I gotta find something to do in the meantime, you know, because I'm so spoiled now. You don't have to wait. Then switching between games, and man, growing up in a time where you had to play one game at a time because, you know, you're poor and there wasn't really that many choices. So, you know,
if you want to climb a ladder,
now you can stop playing and go play another fucking game because, you know, you got so many choices, and they're cheap. You can get an older game that's gonna, you know, 360 game for $1, you know. It's just as good of an experience as anything. So, you know, I don't give a fuck. It's an old game, old graphics and shit. But I do admit that I am spoiled by the whole, you know, the loading screen thing is pretty cool. Like, just like almost no loading screens, you know.
To go up, there's a loading screen. That means the screen goes black for about 3 to 4 seconds, and then you'll.
Yeah, and that excuse about because this game is just so huge and all that, it's horseshit. You know, they're just being cheap, and you know, it's the fucking engine, man. Fucking tired. They need to take off a few years and like rebuild.
Make it there. Even quick. They're
travel, greedy,
right? It's not instantaneous. You're gonna wait 4 to 5 seconds to for screens to appear. It just reminds me of Fallout 4.
That's too much for me.
They say, hey, that's okay. This
4 to 5 seconds.
That's what we're known for. That is true.
I should be able to play Pac-Man in the meantime or something.
This game is only available on the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series.
Do you remember that games that would have a little mini game come up so you wouldn't have to fucking wait? Like Space Invaders come up or something. I don't know what fucking game did that. That's what it needs. They should put asteroids on there or something.
Series S and PC. It is not available on the old platforms.
Yeah, you can't tell me this couldn't fucking go on the old platforms. I think it would take. They should do that actually. If they want to fucking make money off of this shit, they should just say, well, they should put this shit on PlayStation too. You know.
One way I would, that's one negative.
Port it to the old shit and make as much money as you can. I mean, that's the whole point. It's fucking greedy, but
me out of the
is what it is.
It just took me out of the
but no, fuck that. Fuck it, start working on a new fucking engine. How about that? I don't want to see no goddamn, you know, the next Skyrim or whatever.
And I got quite frustrated because of it. But
what you call it, 6.
I think the next thing that I would,
whatever the fucking game is
I think was a negative is the menu system. While it is simple,
and then when they do Fallout 9, if it's still in this shit, you know, it's like fuck you, you know.
This game does not hold your hand. It does not explain everything to you. Because
they didn't do it.
You have to figure out on your own. And
like the old days.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, it took me a couple of hours to figure out some things I just didn't know, and it was like, oh.
Remember the giant fucking instruction manuals you would get with like Starflight? I gotta show people Starflight. That's why I'm kind of into checking this game out a little bit, because I was into this game back in the day. It was a PC game, but I had the Genesis version. Let me see if I can find the manual. Came in, it was when EA was doing all those cool ports of PC games. I still got this game somewhere too, and then I don't know if I still got the instruction manual. I wish. Is this it? Oh, somebody's got one on eBay. Awesome. Well, I want the PDF. But this game was dope. This was basically Starflight on 16-bit. I'll show you guys this game. Pretty much. This was a great game though.
This game has blown me away.
Damn. Pause.
Auto to capture this because the operation
Dual Battles was was cool.
Very specific
for the time. But it was the same shit. You go and get resources, and you come across aliens and shit. There was that series also called Privateer. But see, you go down on the planet, you'd like land, you find these planets, and then you get your little rover out and you go and get minerals and shit. Then you go trade, and sometimes these aliens would fuck you up and try to take your shit. And it was a procedurally generated, I think. You know, it was like yeah, I mean, it had to be, because it was fucking huge. You know, it was a whole galaxy and shit. But anyway, that was a great game.
Oh God, I can do this. I didn't know that. So maybe if there was a strategy guide,
Is
I
it
would
Mars?
purchase.
So you can go to like 3 places on Mars.
This game doesn't hold your hand. Not
Man, I want to fucking walk around Mars. There's almost no excuse at this point. We have Mars pretty mapped out. There should be some more Mars shit than just a couple little cities.
This game without knowing some of the basic functions and features. 2. No. Let's go to 3. I'll go to the next negative thing. This game, it's a good looking game. I repeat,
it does look
a good looking game. Now, granted, I played it on the Xbox Series X.
I'll put it on 14.
And while I didn't have any performance,
yeah, I can't do that while I'm recording right now because fucking for some reason Chrome is being a fucking resource hog.
Issues. I didn't have any frame stutters or anything. This game runs at a
need to reinstall Windows
30 frames a second. So I personally didn't experience any issues, but this game doesn't have a
looks like a lot of walking
feature at all. And what do I mean by next generation feature? Well, why do you call
the loading
next generation? Right?
No loading.
This generation is the current generation we're in is defined based off performance modes, resolution options,
no loading,
ray tracing.
Fuck ray tracing.
No loading screens.
No loading screens.
Instant loading. I guess we would refer to that as that. 3D
no loading
audio,
screens.
Controller options.
Hair.
That kind of sums up this generation.
Chicken, corn. Oh, lots of things.
Well, this game has none of that. So outside of this game just being available on
some games don't even exist.
The current gen platforms only. None of the features of the Xbox Series X or S is being taken into account with this. Maybe because this game, you know, maybe it was because it was particularly made during the last generation. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
These are just some
we'll
things.
We'll have to look into that one, J-Dub.
Maybe Digital Foundry and other publications will say. Maybe Todd Howard.
Maybe we will.
Again,
maybe it's up to us.
I don't want to knock it too much, but I believe
I think it is
taken from that. I think points are going to be deducted. next generation system.
Yeah, I think this is
a first party title, and you're not using any.
I think the Metacritic is probably going to go down to like an 82. I would guess. I'd venture to guess that eventually. Let me see what else. Let me update it actually. Take a look. Take a look. It's in a book. Yeah. Where was it? Oh yeah. So I want to see all the big publications, what they got to say. 87 right now. Let me see. Still an 87. How many reviews? See, this is how much I don't really fuck with Metacritic. I don't even know where to look. Because I don't give a shit. Critic reviews. Oh, 51 critics, okay. That's not bad. That's good. But look at all these freebies. Look at all the freebies I got. You know, I mean, is that really a helpful... I mean, there's no fucking way this game is 100. Come on. You don't deduct points for any of that shit? Like, you know, the shit that we expect from a current gen? This isn't an Xbox fucking One, you know? Generation Xbox, of course. 98, 99. Well, see, there, that's more fair. Not 99. I mean, come on. IG in Brazil. 95. Xbox Hub. Dual Shockers. I mean, they're PlayStation guys. They gave it a 90. See? You guys are crying, man. Crying about these. We got this covered. Windows Central 90. I mean, you can't say the high scores or less honest or more honest than these 70s. I mean, you can't unless you fucking read them all and you know the context of you know who's doing the reviews, how long they did it's like, just read it. If it helps, it helps. If it don't, you keep it fucking moving. I mean, you just want fucking fanboy ammo? That's just stupid. You want an unearned score? That's nothing to brag about. That's just a participation trophy at that point. This looks like a pretty. I mean, look at all the work that GameSpot put into it to give it that, whatever they gave it, 70. They're giving you a lot of shit here to read. You know, if it doesn't help you, it doesn't help you. But this, I've read fucking 60 rated games before, and I'm like looking at reading it, and I'm like, hey, I'd like that. I'll check that out. You know, just because of the fucking number on there, you guys trip out. It's weird. Like, okay, just take a random paragraph, though very limited from a gameplay perspective. Space exploration. Oh, I already read that part. That was an excerpt. Accounting for all its ups and downs, the main thing I wrestle with. Say he's explaining why he's you know, he's cool on some of it, and some of it isn't so hot, you know, and some of it is like, hey, I dig this. But at least he's giving it a fucking reason. The main thing I wrestle with is that Starfield is missing an overall sense of purpose. And see, that's opinion, you know. You got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what kind of games this guy plays, you know. My favorite RPGs, see, he's already saying, you know, it's like he's got his own version. Like, I like 16-bit Final Fantasy. Those are my favorite fucking, as far as RPGs, you know. But other people like the PS2 fucking Final Fantasy, you know. I'm like Final Fantasy 2, 4, maybe not. I mean, 7's cool, but I like the 16-bit ones, you know. That's just my taste. My favorite RPGs have their fair share of shortcomings and limitations, but the ones always leave a lasting impact. They come to mind through having a clear purpose. Even my favorite Bethesda RPGs do this as well. Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim have intricate magic systems, cultures to fill your. See, it's just taste. Obsidian's Fallout New Vegas drops you in a barren wasteland. As a nobody, yet it's so full of personality. Yeah, I agree with that. Humor. Exactly. This does seem kind of sterile, almost like almost more sterile than a fucking like a Christopher Nolan's version of interstellar travel and shit, you know. But I don't know. I don't want to be spoiled with the story, so that remains to be seen. And then whoever said that you got to be playing it for like 20 to 40 hours before it really picks up, I don't know about that one. 40 hours is like kind of usually my limit. About that, games that go any higher than that, I'm just like, fuck you, you know. I got to be really into the game. Fucking go more than 40 hours. Despite nigh limitless possibilities the Final Frontier offers, Starfield's version of humanity remains largely homogenous. Yeah, you can tell. 300 or so years into the future. What? This is 300 years and we're not using consciousness-based technology yet? Give me a fucking break. How did we fucking get that barrier broken of see, the sci-fi doesn't make any sense to me, because if you've cracked Interstellar and you can make something out there where you can go into like a warp drive thing, I'll have to see how it's done. I don't know. But if you do that, then that point you don't need fuel. You know, you can create the fucking materials you need for warp bubbles, force fields, pretty much anything you see in Star Trek, replication. And then also the artificial intelligence aspect. In 300 fucking years, you know, that's how these UFOs fucking work. You know, consciousness-based and artificial intelligence that is just like super fucking sophisticated. Like, if you're not using that, it's like, I don't know. It's like 300 fucking years and we haven't. Of course we'd have that fucking shit by then. If we're going interstellar, you know. I'm just saying. You wouldn't need fucking to get food and shit. You'd replicate it because you'd have the power. You'd have the fucking free energy. Anyway, that's that's the whole thing. Because I mean, think about it. Just a warp time space. The energy required is like, you know, power of a fucking sun. So that if you have that device at that point, you can power. I mean, possibilities are endless when you're warping space-time and you get into that realm of physics. It's, you know, you're basically made. And then, of course, with the consciousness part of it, you know, there's no. You're pulling space towards you, basically. So it's like there's no far away. You're not, you know, it's not propulsion. It's fucking, anyway, I don't know. It's a whole different thing. Where did I leave off? Oh, in the periphery, you can learn about how life is sustainable across all galaxies. Or tease out lore on how many governments and religions evolved, but Starfield struggles to integrate that into its core ethos. I didn't come in expecting something poetic like the Carl Sagan books I grew up reading, awe-inspiring like The Outer Wilds, or as intricate as the sci-fi lore built over the course of the Mass Effect trilogy. But I want something more than the pared-down Bethesda template transposed over space. That's what it does kind of look like, but I'm going to give it a chance. And despite the sci-fi shortcomings and the technological and of course, it seems like this is a game built during a time of extraterrestrial embargo as far as the truth about, you know, extraterrestrials and their, you know, the technologies we have of theirs. So, but I'll give it a pass on that because most people aren't aware of all that shit, so whatever. Okay, so I guess just checking up on this shit. It looks like that Xbox University he had a space earlier where he was in there crying and shit, but I mean, it was weird, but I saw J-Dub was in there and he was about to talk, but I left because it was just so cringy, but I guess they kicked his ass out. That's funny.
He lied. He lied.
He
Y'all
lied.
niggas worship him.
So, damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody is saying he was like being a baby, but I don't know. At this point, I take that, even that, with a grain of salt, because you know, you don't know if it's like they're really immature people or if it's just clout chasing. That's what your audience expects. I don't know. Either way, it's like it's not really for me. And then of course King Thrash is still on his bullshit. This was 3 days ago. Now that the game reviews are out, was I wrong? Let me see. Space has boundaries, planets have boundaries. He wasn't really. I mean, if you're taking what's his name's you know, saying that you can go to every fucking planet, if you take it as exact word, but you know, he was capping like he always fucking does. It's just so he made a little faux pas about science, and then all of a sudden every nerd pretends they knew that, and that was just as cringy as anything. Like, fuck the faux pas. Okay, yeah, you know, he made an error, and but the people jumping on that error are just as cringy, if not more. It's just like, okay, so it's like, man, you got that much built up rage against him over your fucking piece of plastic? Come on. And then people keep posting this shit like this means anything. Some rando fanboy that happens to fucking freelance somewhere at a, you know, Starfield hater becomes laughing stock. Like, come on, you know that guy's a fucking fanboy too. So it's like fucking funny. People are so dumb. No, yeah, that really means something because it looks so professional. Like, wow. Well, the Wall Street Journal came after him. Yeah, sure. Like, who cares? Oh shit, this is the performance. Yeah, I saw that it was dipping down, like even on your landing and shit, but that doesn't really matter when it's like little you know, set piece happening or something, or it's like whatever. But it's still a shame that it's fucking 30 frames, man. That's kind of, it's like, why? Could have played this on the fucking old Xbox, you know. What's the point of upgrading, you fuckers? I'll bet that same energy wasn't the same for any of the Spider-Man games or Horizon. No, we know that's a fucking good score. 87 is solid. And it's solid for Starfield. You guys made it the fucking game of the generation. Hyped it to a fucking oblivion. Hanging your hat on one fucking game. This poor game has to carry the whole fucking console on its back. That's fucking bullshit, man. You guys did that. Don't blame the ponies. And this shit, like, okay, what does that mean? So a bunch of people gave it. You just cherry picking perfect scores, just like other people cherry picking the crappy scores. What's the fucking different? Stupid. Oh shit, so now they're doing conspiracy theories about IGN. Great. I was reading it and it just seemed like they you know, they had perfectly reasonable reasons why their score was what it was. You want fucking fair scores in there to make it a fucking good average. You don't want it fucking all fucking perfect scores. That's like I don't know. It wouldn't feel earned, or wouldn't feel especially because it's fucking gonna, it's missing shit, and it's outdated a little bit, so of course it can't be a fucking perfect game. It's like there's no way you're just gonna give it that because you're excited for it. That's ridiculous. It's unearned. Earn that shit. 87 is a better score to hang your hat on, I think, than fucking 100, because you'd be like, 100? How? You wouldn't think twice about that, really? Yeah, I mean, talk about media. That would be media bias, you know? Yeah, like this. This is like, oh my god, these guys are fucking cringy. Hanging your hat on one fucking game again, and then putting the crying thing behind it. What? I don't get it. Who the fuck are these people? Digital chumps? Oh my god, come on. Hyping this shit up like a fucking weirdo. Jesus Christ. Why? Why, God? Why?
Any of the features? So I don't know. The assets
I don't know
look
either,
pretty
man.
good.
Shit is
I
crazy.
didn't find any problem with it. So graphics were definitely. I would even go on the good side. It was good graphics. It's not going to blow your mind. I recently played a game called Fort Solace.
Yeah, it doesn't look next gen, but it does look pretty good.
Space exploration. It had the atmospheric, it had the graphics, it had the sound, it had the control, it had the instant loading. It may or may not have had ray tracing. I don't know, maybe ray tracing shadows and stuff. But the game
Maybe there
looks
is
like a next generation.
Maybe there's no
or
such
current
thing
generation game.
as ray tracing.
This game here looks like a Fallout.
Hey, what are you doing?
Basically, it is Fallout. It's basically a Fallout 4. That's how I would describe it as far as in graphics. It's a shiny or a little bit higher.
Man, the syncing on this is really bad.
A Fallout 4.
J-Dub's voice
That's
isn't
not bad
matching
for
this
those
guy's
who
lips.
love Bethesda games who love that. Some people will say, "Oh, it's Bethesda. That's the kind of games they make."
5 out of 10.
Great looking graphically, and it's like,
That's horrible.
I understand that. Here's a problem. This is 2023. This is not 2005. Right? We can't go back to Skyrim and say,
Gotta
this is
get
how
back
Skyrim
in
did.
time.
Again, it's not an ugly game by no stretch of the imagination. But it's not going to be top tier as far as in
By no
graphics.
warp
It's not that
of the imagination.
Again, I honestly, I don't think this game is using the power of the Xbox Series console.
It's using the power of the
at all.
cloud, J-Dub. Come on. You should know.
CPU is using, but definitely from a graphical standpoint.
Man, I want to see the face on Mars.
It's not winning any.
Come on,
graphical
go to the face of
It's not
Mars.
holding up to any of
It's
Sony's,
there, I know it.
first-party games, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
It's not
it is what it is.
Periola. Aola.
The last, I think,
Perry
negative
Areola.
take that I would take from this game.
It's there, man. Telling you.
I recently.
It's not a cat litter box of
canceled my
rocks.
Constellation Edition. That's correct. I recently canceled
face,
my
man.
Constellation Edition. I did that because after about 8 hours of this game, I realized, hey, this is a good game.
No laser
This
guns.
game is not worth $325.
Pulse rifles.
It is not. I think there are some
I mean, what-
shortcuts that may have been
Do you
taken.
really think extraterrestrials would let us just start flying around the fucking galaxy with fucking weapons and I don't know. I mean, you'd have some like defensive stuff because, see, again, it comes back to that warping technology and force fields, because you can use those as defensive and offensive weapons. So it's almost like it's a mutually assured, not destruction, but like everybody's got this technology out there, so you don't really need weapons because everybody knows you can fuck each other up. You could probably put somebody into a fucking black hole. You know, if you got warp capabilities, you can just fucking zap them into oblivion. So it's like kind of like a stalemate between ETs. I would think. I mean, sure, it's a little more complicated than that, but I don't know. this sci-fi in this is just a little. Maybe they should have said it in like. I think it would have been cool if they said it right at the beginning of us trying to go out, and I don't know. We'll see how the story goes.
Taking into this game, which is fine. I think for the most part, what we get is what it is. And think about it. This game can be had in Game Pass, right? Everybody's going to be playing this game in Game Pass. So I think because of that,
for free,
I'm giving it
for $1,
a little leeway. But some people won't.
No, we're going to be playing this for
Some
2
people
years,
won't. I know
J-Dub.
people say hundreds of
You're
hours.
going to play
a lot of side
Spider-Man for
missions
2
you can take
hours.
with a lot of these characters, you can do a lot of stuff. Some of it is filler, some of it is not.
That's another thing they set up. The bots set themselves up for is bragging about how long you're going to be playing this game and how it's going to be. You're going to be playing it for years or some shit. It's like, oh god, no, you're not. Some people will.
It gives you nice things. Some of it doesn't.
PC guys are going to be real happy.
A lot of people are going to say,
that's another thing. The PC people I've talked to in real life, they're waiting on this fucking game. They know better. They're not gonna fucking. They may have pre-ordered it and shit. They might get the game, but they're not gonna fucking boot that shit up for a while. They're gonna wait at least 6 months to a year.
If the mods don't have that stuff ready, I'm going to review it based on today and based on my gameplay.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks because that first impression is really important, especially in the console culture. That's why I think some of the scoring is people giving it a gimme because it is Bethesda and they know that there's going to be more shit in this. So they're like, this probably should be a 7 or a 6. But I'm gonna give it an 8 or 9. Just they're kind of giving them a freebie in a lot of ways. But then that could be canceled out by the fanboys that are out there that are giving it low scores for no reason too. So for the most part, I think that shit cancels each other out because there's biasness that goes both ways. The biases, sorry.
So you don't get credit for something that some amateurs could do later on after the fact. This is a game that Bethesda put in. Apparently, this game was 25 years into the making. So,
yeah, sure it was.
Go figure. Anyway,
hyperbole.
To me, I think those are the big negatives that most people would.
Okay, tell me what's great about this game, J-Dub. Because I'm gonna go buy it full price and then not play it on Game Pass.
Janky. Some janky stuff. This is one of the better Bethesda games as far as janky. Now, listen, you can see the screen right now. You can look at. I'm just opening the door. That's about 4 or 5 seconds, right?
Yeah,
I think that's okay. But after you start to explore this game for hours and hours and hours, you start to notice those load times kind of add up, and they rather get annoying. Anyway, back to the positives.
But they don't have steroids in the future?
Very little bugs. I haven't.
They just give you muscles?
We'll see, right? Another positive. Believe it or not, the performance stays kind of solid.
It looks pretty smooth.
I guess a lock 30, solid 30.
It looks smooth.
I didn't really have any issues. Even doing combat, I didn't have. Again, I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. I will be recording footage and posting the Xbox Series S version. So we'll see.
I gotta see that.
We'll see how that turns out.
Because all the minorities that are in third world countries will get to enjoy it.
Those are the two big things: the no bugs and performance.
Right, Pastor?
Solid.
All the black people will get to enjoy it thanks to the Series S. So hopefully it's not broken on the Series S.
Let's see what else will be a positive.
Shout out to Pastor. The sickness
for a Bethesda game, those have always been the two biggest crux. And I think
the Horcrux.
they were able to basically remedy that. I think that was their number one priority. Listen, guys, we just don't want broken games.
Broken games everywhere.
And I think they set out for that. I do think you know, they talk about the size of the planets and stuff like that.
Dude, now I want to play it.
I'll be honest, I'll never touch most of that stuff. I'll go for some side missions. I'll go for the main missions to beat it.
Yeah, I just want
You've
to
run
beat it.
across a bunch.
No one wants to be
You
defeated.
can't get into a lot of combat there. Combat again seems to be solid, and I think for the most part, this game had so much riding on it. I don't want to go into minute details and nitpick stuff.
That's a cool helmet.
The positives was, for one, it's a Bethesda game. For two, can they fix the bugs? They seem to have fixed them. Another thing, is it janky? They seem to have tackled 70, 80, 90% of that. So
far, don't look janky, but I bet you the Series S has some jankiness on it. And of course, some people are going to have a lot of jankiness on the PC.
Last but not least, performance.
For a while.
I think they, for the most part, right? This is not, I wouldn't even call this a next generation game. But at least I didn't have any slowdowns. I didn't have any breakage of anything. And it was just, you know, you kind of get credit just for not fumbling the ball.
Some of the tech looks like, kind of reminds me of Aliens.
Those are my
By the way, I didn't know they were making an Alien TV show on FX, which sounds awesome, but they had to stop production because of the strikes and shit. But that was how I found out they were even making it. Sounds cool though. Keep it, you know, low budget, like the first movie.
But for Bethesda game, look how Fallout 76 came, right? Look what that debacle came, right? Even when Fallout 4
was trash,
Skyrim, all that stuff, right? The bugs, the jank. People will give it time. People will give it a year. People will give it 2 years. Fix
What's
it.
with the Ghostbusters
all
pack?
kind of stuff before a space exploration in space.
Busting makes me feel good.
So that's pretty much my take, guys. I think it's a good game. I wouldn't call it a great game, but I think it's a good game. See my excitement. Fallout
looks okay.
Hours in that.
Looks like you should be fighting those monsters from
and here's one take from it. I do think Bethesda needs to get rid of this engine that they have.
Oh, fuck yeah. Kill it. It needs to fucking just die.
Scrap it and start over with a brand new engine.
Yeah.
You do not have.
Can you imagine they're gonna put out another fucking, oh god,
to have 100, 200, 300 sandwiches, thousands of sandwiches stacked to the side? That doesn't do anything for anyone. It's a nice novelty to have, but could you have used those resources to?
Yeah, it's gonna be bullshit. They're gonna announce another fucking, I guess they already have, but that fucking Elder Scrolls is gonna be fucking the same shit.
Had to maybe this game was held back by the Series S on why they couldn't do a lot of other stuff, right? I do give them, at least I do take that into account. But my review score for this game, I'm gonna give it a solid 80. I can see 80? This game Metacritic score wise getting about an 82 through an 84.
I feel like you're saying that because you feel sorry for it a little bit. So, you know, I think you would probably, oh my god, what's up with the clipping? You'd probably normally give it a fucking 70.